Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hormone Helper Podcast. I'm Coach Andrew, your hormone helper from Fit for All Fitness. I personally coach over 1,600 men and women to help better understand their hormones so they can lose weight and get their metabolism back on track. With this podcast, you're going to hear from me and my special guests about everything from metabolism to thyroid to weight loss. And we even talk a little bit of sexy time as we chat to spread more knowledge thick like butter on your hormones. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to share, so let's do this. Hello, you beautiful human beings. Welcome back to the Hormone Helper Podcast. And this podcast episode is going to be a very special one because this is going to be the transition of a couple of firsts. First of all, we've got a first new series that we're going to be doing on the podcast called C2C, and I'll explain that in a moment. And then we have a kind of transition in the podcast because we're opening up an entire new division in the company, which is Fit for All Fitness, Inc. So there's a couple of things that, of course, I operate and I work with on people now. A lot of it is hormone based, a lot of it's weight loss based, it's metabolism based, and all of that stuff is absolutely fantastic because one, I've been super passionate about health and hormones for a really long time, but two, I really love being that in-between information to help people understand and decide whether or not it's something they need to see a doctor for, or maybe something that they need to work with a coach on. So this podcast has been phenomenal for that because with this, I've been able to reach out further to all of you to give you some insight on what's going on health and wellness wise for you to be able to make better decisions on your own health. And that was really my only objective of this podcast. I said to myself at the beginning, even if I were to listen to this information 5 years from now, is it still going to be relevant? Is it still going to be good? Is it still going to help people? Can I use this as a resource to point people in a direction to make better decisions for themselves? So I've hit that, and that's phenomenal. Now, something really special came out of that is we were having a lot of health and wellness coaches who want to do online coaching, who are in a point where they're like, hey, I want to help people just like you're helping people. And for some reason, they kind of don't know how to get started. They were stuck building the initial part of the business. They were always working on building a program for forever. And it took like 6 months, a year for them to just put something on paper. And they can't really seem to get started in the online coaching space. And this is where the second series comes in, okay? The series of C2C. Now, when these coaches came and they approached me, at first I thought to myself, I want to be very careful here because my focus and my passion is really about making sure that people get healthier. And in helping these coaches, sure, I can help them. I can give them tips. I can give them tools. But I really had to sit down and think to myself, is this going to help more people? Because when I look to take on anything, a seminar, an event, a presentation, a retreat, that is the first question. Who does it help, and is it going to help more people? If the answer is no, it's not going to help more people, then I just don't do it anymore because it's not in alignment with my goals and it's not in line with the purpose of Fit for All, which is functional, innovative training for everyone. That's the entire name of why Fit for All is called Fit for All. And it's the same thing with our Vantage program, right? Which is virtual accountability, nutrition, and training for all groups and ages. So when looking at these coaches and listening to what their struggles were, I was coming across kind of the same questions over and over again. I'm having struggle, I guess both trouble and struggle building an online brand and an online presence. I'm having a really hard time figuring out what should go into my program to make sure that people see results because you seem to have no problem getting people's results. I have a really big problem promoting myself as a coach, and I just don't know where to get started. And I understand that because it took me a while to understand, of course, where online coaching was going, and then also what the possibility of coaching was. And so, in providing a little bit of the conversation, the feedback, doing a little bit of consulting here and there, it opened up this beautiful opportunity to, in fact, take on a division in our business and where we were going to actually work with coaches on developing their brand and promoting their offers so they could actually coach as a career. And I love this. I love the space. I love, hearing the people that we've consulted with who are like, hey, I've finally been able to open up my business. We have a full running company. I've got clients now. And that just showed to me that there was a huge need for it. Now, the question is, does that help more people? And at the very beginning of starting Fit for All, I thought that the only way I could help people was if I worked with them individually. If they worked with me on their programs, if they attended my seminars, basically they would have to go through me to change their life. But what I've recognized and realized is that every single coach out there is touching another person's life. They're working with another human being. And if I help that coach be a better coach, then they're going to show up more for that person and they're going to be able to change more people's lives than I ever could on my own. And this is where I've introduced this new division of our business called the C2C, and that is basically coach to coach, where just like I'm a coach, it's teaching the tools, the resources, the knowledge, and the education for people to start up their online businesses in health and in wellness, and how to be able to teach them how to market, how to build their programs, how to get people in and service the living shit out of them, help them hit their goals, help them achieve their dreams, help them get to a place where health is no longer an obstacle in their health. That, for me, is a really new and exciting chapter. And I'm going to be officially launching what we call the C2C series, which is our coach to coach series. And it is going to be on not next week, but the week after. So this is going to be mid-June, where every single week, alongside creating a podcast episode for the regular series of Hormone Helper Podcast, I'm going to be creating a series of episodes for strictly coaches. Now, the question is really this, and I'm sure you're wondering this, okay, why is it on this podcast? Why not another podcast? And see, here's the thing. Just like coaches are always learning more information, I feel the best way for a coach to show up for another coach is to live the lifestyle, to preach health, and to show them how they are actively coaching clients today. And this podcast is coaching clients. And I want you to all understand this. You are all technically, and I consider this, you are all a kind of client by proxy. And what I mean by that is, like, my objective is every single person that listens to my information changes their life. They start to implement things. They start to see better results in their health. They start to lose more weight. They start to feel better in their body. So I consider each and every person that I'm speaking to someone that I am working with. Even if I've never seen you before, if you've attended my seminar, if you're showing up on my lives on Instagram, if you are actively learning the things that I'm saying and you're applying them in my life, congratulations, we're working together. So what a better way than to show as a prime example to the coaches that I am working with in the C2C with just showing them how I deliver and show up to all of you, how real content is supposed to benefit without holding back, because I never hold back an answer or put, your health behind a paywall. I want you to succeed as much as possible. And that comes from leading from the front. So this is me showing up for you guys on this podcast, me showing up for you regularly on Instagram, showing up for you on LinkedIn, and then showing these coaches who are not only going to be listening to the C2C series, but they're going to be listening to the way that I deliver content as well. It's going to benefit them so they can learn how to talk better to all of you. And it's going to benefit, of course, themselves, because they're going to learn the fundamentals of what coaching should be, and that is service-based. I am sick and tired of the coaching industry just being something that someone has a really good body, they are really good with words, and they're really good at speaking. So what happens is someone falls in love with the person. They feel a sense of like, oh, I really want what this person has. And so you try to buy all of their stuff, but you never get a result. That's largely what a lot of people's coaching experience feels like. And that sucks. It sucks because there are a lot of phenomenal coaches who have been in the industry a really long time, and I know tons of them for different things: relationships, body positivity, my wife for binge eating, all of those types of coaching programs who people have a hesitation on because they've been burned in the past. And where a lot of coaches go wrong is when they're trying to hire coaches themselves, or where they're trying to work with business gurus, or they're trying to hire people to start their business. They're hiring people who are no longer in the industry. They're hiring people who may or may not have been successful in the health space, and they're trying to teach them outdated tools and outdated knowledge as a way of making a quick buck. Coaching, yes, you can make good money. Of course, I'm in the industry and I've never missed a meal my entire life. Great. I love that. But here's the thing. You can make good money doing anything. You can make good money collecting garbage, creating Facebook ads. There's a million other jobs that you can do. And coaching requires something that a lot of people don't recognize, which is basically selfless service. You have to care about that person 20 times more than you care about yourself. Because sometimes people lose motivation. Sometimes they have a really hard time getting out of their own way. And sometimes they might even self-sabotage. And that's where you have to step in as a coach to really help them, guide them, and show them that there is another possibility besides the way that they are experiencing their health and wellness journey right now. And this isn't just about health and wellness coaches. This is literally about coaching, period. Regardless of what you do, your responsibility does not stop after you've been paid. It's really about making sure that you are showing up every single day at the highest level, because that's what coaching is. It is being able to bring people to a place higher than where you are. When I take people through my programs, which other coaches have said, that's nuts. And I can't believe you say this in your content. I tell people that I want to work with them, teach them everything I know so they don't have to have me as a coach for the rest of their life. And that scares a lot of coaches. And a lot of the friends that I work with, they're like, ooh, that's like, what about you? Well, here's the thing. If you teach people the actual tools, if you empower them with the knowledge and you give them the accountability and the support to know that they can succeed, and they see results, even if they do say, hey, you know what, Andrew, I'm good to go on my own, I become their biggest cheerleader, and they never stop talking about me, and they become my biggest cheerleader. I'm always getting people referring to me. I'm always getting people reaching out to me. I'm always working with different clients all the time, not because I'm doing anything special, but because I just focus on making sure that when I'm working with someone, that I'm actually speaking to them, talking to them, communicating with them. I know what's going on. I have a high level of awareness. And then it's that person who, with all of that support, says, hey, you know what? I can actually do this now. I have someone backing me, and I didn't have this support before. So the C2C series, which I want to share, what it's going to cover, why it's going to exist, and it's going to continue to exist, and it's in my mind set in stone that this is going to be a part of the Hormone Helper podcast moving forward, is a couple of things. So one, here's what we're going to cover in the C2C. We're going to cover something that's called client converting content. Because guess what? All of you listening in here, you are building slowly a relationship with me. There's no surprise. Okay. I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell it like it is, right? You go into a car dealership, chances are the people behind the desk, they're of course there to make your life easier, but ultimately their job is to make sure that you leave with the thing that you came to look for, which is a car. And when I am working with people, my job is to make sure that if you're going to hire a coach, you choose the right coach, that you choose a coach that's going to teach you the skills and the knowledge, and that's going to empower you to be able to do this by yourself. So my intention is, little by little, bit by bit, we're building a relationship together. Even if I've never seen you, even if you're that silent person in the background, casually looking at my Instagram or listening to these podcasts, you're building a relationship with me. And I with you. Every single time you listen to something that I say and you apply it and it works for you, there's more trust, and I make you more successful. That is how this is supposed to work. So with the C2C, a large part of what we're going to be talking about is client converting content. And this isn't about getting people to buy your program. The word converting is about getting people to change their perspective, their mindset, and their attitude towards their health and their fitness. Their perception around coaching, their perception around motivation, their perception around food, their perception around activity. All of that is going to change. The purpose of making someone into a new and converted state is really about making sure that they are doing everything from a place of empowerment. Because if you do something in your life out of a place of lack, I feel like I need this. I'm so desperate to do this. I feel like I'm lacking this. Then it's never going to feel good. It's never going to be sustainable. And you're always going to hate the process. And health isn't something you should fear. It's not something you should regret. It's not something you should hate. It's something that you should get up and be excited to work on yourself and see yourself improve every single day. But here's the thing. A lot of coaches don't know how to do that with content. They just want to throw information out there. Here's how intermittent fasting works. Not only does that not help you, the people who actually want to know why intermittent fasting is good or not, it doesn't help them because it actually doesn't change your mind into what the real issue is. So using this exact example as a piece of content, I don't just tell people, hey, here's intermittent fasting and you need a 6 and 18 window and this is the amount of times that you have to eat a day, because you can look up that stuff on Google. What I'm here to show you is this. Hey, intermittent fasting is not for everyone. Sometimes when people do intermittent fasting, it spikes your cortisol and that actually triggers a stress response. And that might be why you're actually gaining weight. So if you're going to do it, here's the things that you need to consider, X, Y, and Z. And here's what you could do instead, which is eating a high macronutrient-based diet. Just in that small example, I am still going to be educating people about intermittent fasting, but I'm doing it in a way that allows someone to understand, is intermittent fasting for me? And I may or may not convert their mindset on whether or not they should be doing yet another diet or they should focus on a long-term solution. So I find that a lot of coaches struggle to create content because they don't know who they're speaking to. And I find that they struggle to create content because they're just throwing tools and information and they're not actually converting someone's mindset into a place where they can be willing to use the tools. And the third thing is they're trying to make content to sell you on something. And I mean, that's like, I use a dealership as an example because it's so clear. When you go into a dealership and you're looking around for a car and someone walks up to you and they go, hey, do you like that car? It has 4 doors. It's a V6. It has 382 horsepower. It's eco diesel. It has navigation and satellite. You're not interested. Truthfully, I've never bought a single car looking at any of that shit. Every car has doors. Every car has a radio. Every car has AC now. So trying to sell me on its features is like a coach trying to say, hey, you should join my program because my program has a meal plan. And then we're going to do a weekly calls every single week. And alongside that, I have 15 modules and the modules cover this and sleep. And when you start to do that, like at the end of the day, tools are tools. Like if you're looking for tools, great. There's a million different tools on this podcast. There's a million different tools on my Instagram. You as a person searching for health and fitness, you can go and you can find a tool even on Google. But you're not. You're not looking. Why aren't you looking there? Why aren't you searching for another tool, for another meal plan, for another free guide? Because you know deep down in your heart that shit's not going to work. You're going to look it up. You're going to look at the information. You might apply it for a day. Then guess what? It's going to sit in the back of your shelf, or you might print it off and it goes underneath a book, and then it becomes a bookmark or something as a placeholder, and then you never see it again. So when coaches focus on creating content just to pitch you something, it always looks like this. Hey, here's your struggles to make you feel insecure. Then the next level is, okay, your struggles will be corrected if you focus on food, this and this, and you're like, oh, okay, tell me how to do that. And then they throw like a paywall in front of you. They're like, so if you want to learn that, you've got to join my program. They're always holding back from you. And as coaches, we're not on this planet to hold back from people. I don't ever tell people if someone asks me a question in public or if someone asks me this, I don't ever say, you know what, I'm going to hesitate. I'm not going to show up as my highest version to you. That's not what I'm going to do. Because at the end of the day, and that's even why, ironically, why I created the Ask Coach Andrew series. So you guys can literally ask questions and I can put them up on Facebook and be like, boom, hey, this question came in, here's what it is. Because I believe that information should be available to every single person. And when you do that, you allow people to make the best decision possible. And when people make good decisions, they stick with their actions and their decisions a lot longer. So in creating content this way, if you don't create a properly a piece of content that educates, inspires, converts someone's mindset, you're never ever going to get them to a place where they might even consider working with you. And this is where a lot of coaches reach out to me. Me and Lorna, like clockwork. How did you do this? How are people signing up? I've been posting all the time and I get absolute crickets. So content is going to be a large piece of this series, and how you create content in a way that's going to up-level people, that's going to uplift them, and ultimately that's going to educate them enough to make a decision of whether or not you might be the right coach for them. Now, the second thing that I'm going to be talking about is something which I call fast launching. I really hate when I talk to coaches or I talk to people who want to create new programs and they spend like a year and a half trying to create one program. Here's the thing with this, okay? And a large part of what I'm going to be talking about in the C2C. When people build programs before having clients in them, they don't even know if the people want it. So you're building a program based off of something you're not even sure if someone will need, and with tools that may or may not even help the people you're looking to help, versus you ask people who are in your process what they need, and then you build the things and work out the program based on that. There are so many new coaches, or like coaches who are on that 2.5 year mark, who are like, okay, my program is getting stale. I want to launch a new program, and they want it to be the final version. They want it to be this perfect thing. And so they never fully finish it. They never fully get it out there. And because they don't have anything ready, they never promote it. And so they get no one in their program. And then they're like, oh, this sucks. I feel like I'm not coaching anybody. A fast launch is the key to basically how me and Lorna really built up everything that we have here. The first program that we started with was our Vantage program. And the Vantage program had the only 4 modules of fundamentals: nutrition, because I believe everyone needs that; hormones, because of course that's what I'm coaching people on; and then training, and then habits. Those were literally the 4 basic modules. And when we took our founding members through the program, I told them at the very beginning, I said, listen, you guys are the first people who have gone through this program. You are the founding members. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be asking you along the way what we need. And then when you say you need something, I'm going to build it out, create modules, and I'm going to film things that you can actually use that are going to benefit you. So I was able to do really, really quick turnarounds with all of our programs. Everything that's in our program was created because a client asked and requested it, because it came from a client's struggle, because it came from a challenge that I kept seeing clients come up with all the time. Now, what does that do for the strength of my program? That creates a program that's always growing. That creates a program that's really potent, and that creates a program that you're going to promote very quickly. So then you can get people, of course, to start working with you. Because every single day that goes by that you are not promoting your program, and I talk about our program here a lot because it's fire, like from a hormonal perspective, like if someone had the cure, which is crazy, okay, crazy to say this, but I am going to say it. If someone had the cure for cancer and they knew that it was the cure for cancer, wouldn't they tell you and preach to the entire world? They would. And the way that I see our program in our Vantage Academy is it is literally the solution to be able to get people to finally reset and stabilize their hormones so they don't have to do things like be on crazy medications, take Ozempic, have to do all these crazy diets, and they can cut all that crap out of their life and start focusing on things that they want. And that fires me up. So if I know that I have that, if I know that I can provide that for every single person who works with us in the Vantage program, why wouldn't I be talking about it? Why wouldn't I want to tell everyone about it? And this is what fast launching really is. I'm going to be in this series showing every single person who's newer in the coaching realm that they can create and bring programs and resources to life for people to be ready to use like ASAP. You do not need to be waiting to promote something, to talk about something, because your clients and the people you work with are going to dictate how you build that thing to make it the most successful for them. Now, third thing that I'm going to be talking about is something that's called no BS. I don't want to get mad, okay, because I'm not mad. It's a frustration. I am frustrated with the industry because one of the hardest things that it takes a coach is to build trust. It takes a long time to build trust because, as you see, you got to build the relationship, you got to show them results, a lot of stuff. Okay. I am going to be teaching a part of the series that's going to be called No BS, which is called Nothing But Service. It's not focusing on just selling somebody, but how to ethically bring people into your programs, how to make the decisions where you say, hey, you know what? This is how much my program is, how to stand by that investment, and how to help people invest in a way that's ethical. So not only you can, of course, make money and live your life as being a coach, but also these people will get what they're buying. I call it no BS because it's nothing but service. When I hop on calls with people in our discovery call, I'm not there to sell them. I don't care if they join. That's not what it's about. It is about me speaking to them to figure out whether or not I can help you. Can I actually help you? Where are you actually struggling? Why do you feel like you're stuck? And at that point, if I feel this person is coachable, this person has a struggle, and I can help them with this, then we discuss the program, the options, or the things needed to be able to take them to the next level. I do not have sales targets in my business. That's disgusting. This isn't about selling storage bins, okay? This is about helping people. I'm not here to say I want 500 heads a month. I want everybody in a cookie cutter program. I want an LBO, a downsell. I want something high ticket, something low ticket. All of that verbiage and that wording indicates that you're only looking for money as a coach. And if you're looking for money as a coach, it means that you value this system in this order. You value money first, you value yourself second, and you value clients third. And that's a bunch of BS. And I don't want any BS, hence the no BS. Here's why I say that. When you value money first, it means that whether someone pays you $1,000 or someone pays you $1, you treat them differently because you value more money. Which is nonsense because anyone who trusts you to work with you, whether they're in a free seminar or they're paying $1,000, you should be coaching, delivering, and talking to them the same way. Because remember, like I said, I treat everyone like they're my client. Now, here's the difference. People who actually, you know what? I'll make a separate podcast on that. Okay. We'll put a pin in that talking about delivery because it's really important. But when it comes to the nothing but service, and I'm sorry, I got to put the pin in that because that's a whole other content, how to be able to basically deliver to people, because you'll know if you have a lot of BS in your program, if people early quit, if they don't stay, if they don't follow through the process. We have 100% retention through our program. And what I mean by 100% is everyone finishes the program. We don't have fall offs. And that's because we built really great culture and a really great program. Okay. But looking at the BS is about weeding through how we can walk someone through making a financial investment for themselves, because investing is not just trading money, it's trading their energy, and energy comes in the form of money. Energy comes in the form of money, energy comes in the form of time, energy comes in the form of emotions. So when we have someone invest at that level, it's yet one other energetic connection that gets them a little more resolve to stay committed to the process long term. Okay, so back to the little pyramid. Okay, if you follow money first, it means that you're going to treat people differently through your process. And if you value money, then it means that ultimately you're valuing money because you're putting yourself first. So what that means is when a client's really struggling and maybe you're not having a great day, maybe you miss the message. Maybe you don't message them right away. Maybe you don't follow up with them. Maybe you can't be bothered because you say, you know what? I am going to focus on me first and not them. And what that does is that puts the person last. And any single person who works with a coach that gets put last, they're the people who start to develop trust issues. They're the people who start to have a hard time and who start to question themselves because they go, is it me? Am I the reason why coach doesn't want to talk to me today? Am I the reason why coach is not responding to me? They're going to feel lost. They're going to feel confused. And then, of course, they're going to feel defeated and they're going to quit. And that's why there are a lot of coaches out there who have no problem selling you something. But then when it actually comes to delivering it to you, well, guess what? They can't deliver on the stuff that they talked about. So that's what the C2C is going to be about. Okay. Coach to coach. That is the series. And ultimately, I'm going to help basically coach all of these fitness owners, health owners, online coaches, whoever's in the online space, be and show up as better coaches. So that way they can start to just not only love the career in the industry, because there's so much to love in the health and wellness space, but also love the people that they're working with and develop a level of passion. The way that I see it is it's passion first, it's people second, and then it's profit third. When you have a passion for health and fitness, you continue to grow your passion by helping people. When you help people, not only does your passion continue to ignite, but guess what? More people are going to pay you in a form of an investment, which is energy, because they value what you do. So I just wanted to put this episode out there because starting forward, you're going to see inside the Hormone Helper podcast that there will be the separate series, and the separate series is coach to coach, and that's going to be individual to the Hormone Helper episodes. So if you're like, hey, you know what? I just want hormone health. I just want to be able to feel good in my own skin. I just want to learn how to lose weight. I just want lifestyle. Then you don't even have to listen to the series. Beautiful. But if you're a coach or you're someone who's like, you know what, coaching is something that I want to do. It's something I'm in the industry for, but I'm having a really hard time loving the way I'm doing this, then it is absolutely going to be up to you to listen to this and to apply everything that comes in. Now, that being said, I'm also going to be opening up a YouTube channel where people can explicitly go and listen to all of these outside of the podcast. So it's still going up on the podcast first, but you're going to see that there's going to be individual episodes solely on the YouTube channel. And that's just because, coaches are going to have individual questions and, they may not be relevant for the aspect of like, how you can get healthier, how you can be happier. Maybe it's just something strictly business, but regardless of what it is, that channel will be coming out as well. I'm going to drop the link to the channel in the show notes for Coach to Coach. Other than that, I'm super excited to bring this series. I'm super excited to bring this as a division of our company. We already have many people in this process, which is crazy to say. It's 8 already, which is great. I'm so excited to be able to work with coaches in changing this, in changing their perspective around the industry, and in making a really big impact so I can change more lives. Thank you guys so much for listening to this special episode. If you're curious about the C2C, on the information on it, on the podcast, even about the C2C program itself, you can go check out the link in the show notes. I'm also going to drop the link to our C2C website as well. That way, if you are a coach and you're like, hey, you know what? I made the decision a long time ago that I want to be a coach. Cool. Then let's have a chat and let's see if there's a way that we can help you do that. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you later. Bye. Well, it seems I'm all out of info juice for today. That's all for this episode, and thank you so much for listening. Please leave a raving review for me if you've learned something good, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're in the mood for some more great content and tools to get your hormones on track, why not check out our free Facebook group and the blog on our site? We do amazing weekly trainings in our group that me and my wife call Tea and Teachings that give good tips for anything hormones and metabolism related. It's also a great community where you get to share your goals and success with like-minded people just like you. I'll make sure to drop both the Facebook group link and the blog link in the show notes for you. Or if you're ambitious like me, the name of the group is Weight Loss and Balanced Hormones. It'll say Fit for All beside it with a picture of me. So come and join us and have more fun.